All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. All right, sorry it's been so long since I put out the last video. I kind of took the summer off just to recharge my batteries a little bit, get some ideas in my head of what I want to do going forward. But at the same time, I took some personal time. I am turning 50 this August, and I have made it a bucket list goal for myself that I'm going to try and qualify next May, June. I'm going to try and qualify for the U.S. Senior Open on the U.S. PGA Golf Tour on the senior side because I'm 50 years old. So I spent the last 2 months, I got a part-time job at a golf course, and I spent the last 2 months working on all the different parts of my game that I need to get to. But nonetheless, it's been 2 months. I am so sorry, but football started again. School's back in session. Teachers are back, so we're going to get it rolling again, all right? So today I'm going to talk a little bit about types of tackles and how we kind of break down the types of tackles that we want to teach and the things we need to teach, and then talk a little bit about trying to figure out using game film and how to figure out when to get the kids to understand which tackle they should be using. Make sure you check out some of our partners, GameStrat, Sideline Replay Company. I've used the last 6 or 7 years the schools I've been at, and we use it here at Bishop Kenny. Dome Hats, which is the headwear company that I use with Play Fast Football, also headwear company we use here at Bishop Kenny. So here's one of our fitted hats at Bishop Kenny. If you like custom hats and different styles, trucker mesh, snapback, fitted, Velcro on the back, any enclosure on the back that you want, make sure you check out Dome Hats. Baker Sporting Goods, local company we use. Coaches gear, players gear, fans gear. They do more than just football. They do a bunch of baseball work. Really good local company here, so make sure you check out Baker Sporting Goods. JustPlay, which is the playbook software we use, and then the software we use to do presentations for our players, like in camp. Offensively, Coach will put a lot of presentations up there where he'll be using some different film of his and some other film that he can get his hands on to show guys what 4 verticals looks like or what compressed sets look like. So do a really good job being able to put together presentations that make the meetings, the install meetings and everything go a lot smoother. Plus, to me, it's the best play drawing tool on the market, so check out JustPlay. DifferenceUSA, ultimate striking machine, get thousands of reps without needing a partner. It's perfect for in-season, perfect for off-season. It was an absolutely great tool during the pandemic because you didn't need a partner and you were striking a bag. The bags were easy to clean. You didn't have to worry about it as much as contacting jerseys, other people during the COVID season. So it was something that was great during the 2-year pandemic. It was great before that when I started using it, and it's great after that. We use them here at Bishop Kenny all the time. Elbows in, thumbs up, work on striking, in-season, off-season, DifferenceUSA. CoachTools is basically a program that's designed to evaluate players, grade players, come up with a better system where you can create your own tools and format your own software program of how you want to evaluate and grade your players. So if you're frustrated doing it by hand or you're frustrated doing it the old-fashioned way, make sure you check out CoachTools, brand new product that just came out within the last year. I'm looking at possibly using it at Bishop Kenny. I just don't know if I have the time between teaching classes and all the other work that I have to do, coordinating defense, helping special teams. It's just a matter of time for me. If I get an assistant coach to understand how to set it up and use it all, I think it's going to be a great tool to use, so I'm going to be looking into it here at Bishop Kenny. So when I talk about the types of tackles, all right, this is just a way we break down the different types of tackles and then kind of what we're thinking about with each tackle, and then I'll kind of talk you through some drills that we use when we are tackling. So the first one we talk about is profile tackle. You know, your profile tackle is basically going to be that head-on tackle, all right? When I say head-on, I don't mean having the head involved in the tackle. I mean it's you and a ball carrier in a short space, in a window, linebackers filling holes, safeties coming downhill possibly and filling holes. It's that old school, all right, one-on-one, short space tackle, all right, where we have to learn, all right, to strike with in a proper position. We have to learn how to strike on the rise. We have to learn how to use our shoulder in contact the proper way, what we want to do with our face mask, what we want to do with our head, all right, and how to keep all the power points between our ankles, our knees, and our hips loaded up, you know, and how we break it down to kind of lock and load, and when we're tracking and then when we're tackling. So, you know, looking at some different things of great profile tackles and seeing the position that guys are in, seeing the angle of that hip, And then we have the dip and rise bags that we use here that force you to get actually under the bag, that teaches the kids to get low enough to get under the bag and then strike on the rise. So we do some profile tackles using the dip and rise bags, and then the dip and rise bags onto crash pads. So, you know, the profile tackle is basically that head-on ball carrier is kind of directly in front of you. We're still keeping the helmet out of contact. We're still teaching shoulder tackles, but we want to teach all the proper points of contact and the power and how to strike on the rise, and, you know, our ankles and our knees and our hips and the angles that we're looking for, and using the tools that are out there to get us in proper position to make those profile tackles. Vice tackles are basically two-man leverage tackles when you have a partner with you, a lot of times in special teams, or a lot of times in the secondary or in space, or maybe two linebackers. It's when you have a partner with you, you're trying to leverage the football, you're trying to keep the football maybe on your inside pec, your inside shoulder pad, your near foot, your near shoulder, your same foot, same shoulder, and then your buddy's got a side where he's going to leverage the ball back to you. All right, so it's good football mechanics, it's proper football fundamentals. You're teaching kids how to leverage the ball and keep it on their inside pad while also sending it back to a free hitter or a partner on a team. But when you do it the right way, and you do it near foot, near shoulder, all right, and I'll talk about the shimmy stuff that we do every single day, but when you get into that near foot, near shoulder position, if my right foot is up, my helmet is on the left side of the ball carrier. On the other side, my partner, if his left foot is up, his helmet is on the right side of the ball carrier. So now the two of us, our helmets are opposite of each other. So now if we both can strike physically with the shoulder, all right, and tackle properly, keeping the head out of contact, now two of us can physically be aggressive to leverage the ball on our inside shoulder pad, keep it inside and in front, send it back to a partner, but at the same time be very physical with how we're tackling, because if we both use the proper technique, our helmets should never be on the inside, okay? And you've got to work when a guy cutback situations and what you're trying to do. We never work cutback situations with more than one player, because sometimes you may get stuck in that cutback scenario where your head is across, worst case scenario. But when we're teaching two-man vice, all right, and we've got a couple different drills that we do with it. We started from close contact and with a shimmy position to get them fitted to where they belong. Then we run guys into it with a stationary ball carrier to get where we belong. Then we run guys, you know, we'll start with our two-man vice drill where the ball carrier is facing one direction, two defenders are facing the opposite direction. They've each got to sprint. The two defenders sprint to cones on the outside and then turn and work to leverage the ball. The ball carrier sprints 5 yards, so it would kind of look, you know, something along the lines of we'd have cones set up. All right, so you'd have 4 cones set up here like a box drill. Okay, and then somewhere on the inside of the cone you'd have defensive player, ball carrier here. This defensive player sprints to the cone and works back to leverage. Sprint to the cone, work back to leverage. Ball carrier sprints, and when he comes back, as long as he stays inside the box, he can do whatever he wants to try and make those guys miss. And now we've got to be able to sprint. We've got to close the distance. We've got to come to balance with our shimmy technique. And now we've got to keep the ball on our inside shoulder pad, all right, so that our helmet is not involved in the contact. And when there's two of us doing it, our helmets are both away from each other. Mine's near foot. All right, same foot, same shoulder, near foot, near shoulder with my helmet on this side of the camera. The guy that's over here is leveraging it, same foot, same shoulder. Helmet's on this side of the camera. Now our helmets are opposite each other so we can teach kids how to leverage the ball, close the distance, shimmy, near foot, near shoulder, all the proper things that we want to tackle. We have another kind of vice drill that we do where we fix it, all right, and we'll put, you know, very similar, we'll have the same box set up, all right, and then we'll start a ball carrier back here, and we'll start a defender somewhere here, maybe 8 yards away. We'll put another defender maybe 12 yards. All right, that ball carrier can come up and choose a direction. All right, that this first defender is going to work to leverage the ball. All right, and so if he worked on this angle, if he leveraged it on the right with his left foot up, near shoulder, I now have to fix that and put myself in a position to leverage it with my right foot and right shoulder. So now we end up with the two-man vice. So we just call it a vice fix-it drill. All right, and then we have the first guy leverage the ball. Hopefully he's doing it correctly, near foot, near shoulder. If he ever gets out of position or the ball cuts back, now the other defender fixes it. and uses the opposite leverage. So we call it a vice fix-it drill, so that's one of the other ways we work on two-man leverage. All right, angle tackles for us in our vernacular is basically tackles from a leverage position. So it's an angle tackle, but I still am in some type of compromised leverage position. All right, so in other words, it's not that complete chase where I've lost leverage. That's where we throw our roll tackles in. Our leverage is lost. We're in a big time chase position. All right, to us, angle tackles are where we still have some form of leverage. All right, and a lot of the times for us, what we'll do is we'll throw a lot of our tracking drills into our angle drills. So we'll do the tracking drill that everybody does, and we'll do a rabbit running and a guy that's on an angle, full speed, tracking a hip. He changes speeds, I got to change speeds and shimmy with him or skate. All right, some people turn and shuffle with him. All right, so that you can help defend a cutback. He accelerates, I accelerate to a point where we tag off on the hip. All right, that one is more of a tracking drill. All right, because I think, in my opinion, when you're doing it from a certain distance, I've kind of lost leverage in that situation. So it's not from the greatest leverage position. So that's more of a tracking drill as far as an angle drill is concerned. All right, and then we'll do like an angle cutback drill where we'll work a guy that is a cutback player, and we'll shuffle vice him square inside, and then we'll pull the trigger on a bag, on a stand-up bag that might have a crash pad behind it, to where now we can full speed, near foot, near shoulder, and aggressively, all right, try and strike a bag, not a person, with a crash mat behind it. A lot of times you'll see people do it where when they might use those moving bags, that the robotic bags that can move, where I'll shuffle inside, that bag starts to go, and now I've got to run on an angle with proper leverage. All right, it's usually no more than 10 yards. So if I start to shuffle here, the crash pad and the bag that I'm going to be hitting is probably 10 yards inside of me. So I'll set up a cone at about 4 yards, and I'll tell our players, hey, you got to maintain your vice cutback position for the first 4 yards. Once you get to that next cone, now you know the ball's gone that direction. It is a full speed sprint, close the distance, shimmy, near foot, near shoulder. But on that one, we're trying to accelerate, strike on the rise, through a ball carrier. So a lot of times we want that to be a lot more violent, and we want the kids to feel safe of being able to run through and strike on the rise and generate the power that we want without having to worry about either the guy holding a bag and he's worried about, running full speed into a crash pad. A lot of the times if we ever use a body on a crash pad, it's always close contact. So when we're doing a drill that involves that full speed angle close, a lot of times we are going to use some type of stand-up bag or some type of bag that we can use so that we can tackle through that. But that's from a kind of cutback leverage position where, let's say I'm playing out Sam linebacker, down safety, and they run power the other way, and I start to vice inside, and it cuts back towards the A-gap, and now when I see it, I've got to pull the trigger and close right now. So I know it's not toss sweep, it's not jet sweep the other way. I start the vice, ball went away, but it's coming back inside on cutback, and now at some point, from my vice cutback, I'm going to turn my hips and run, and now it's going to be that angle tackle that we're talking about. But we're trying to run through ball carriers. We're still going to near foot, near shoulder. When we get there, we're going to close the distance. We're going to near foot, near shoulder, and then we're going to work on striking on the rise, all the power positions we need to be in, making sure our pad level's low, and all the good things that we need to, work on to be good tacklers. So that's from an angle perspective. All right, we do, kind of two different things. It's more angle tracking, and then we work on the real angle leverage position where we can explode through ball carriers. For us, the roll tackle is basically leverage is lost. We're in a complete chase position. You don't have a good enough angle to run through a tackle. You're not in position to physically accelerate your feet through a tackle. Leverage is lost. You're behind the ball carrier, and you have no choice but to roll to get them on the ground. Or you may be in that angle leverage position, but you're a 150-pound DB, and he's a 230-pound running back. And even though I've got a great angle and I've got great leverage, the only way I'm going to get him on the ground is to use some type of roll tackle and try and make sure that I can squeeze all the air out and bring him into me and roll to myself, because I'm probably not going to run through him. I'm probably not going to be able to generate enough force to get that knockback you know, like the old days when you see Steve Atwater tackle Christian Okoye. All right, those are two rare breeds. I don't know, in high school with 9th and 10th grade kids, if I'm working with a 140-pound kid, I don't think he's got the strength yet, and he doesn't know how to use his body to knock back a 210-pound ball carrier. So now we're talking about, you know, in the old days, my coaches would call me an ankle biter, you know, when we didn't know enough about roll technique. Now we're talking about that small DB that's got to get a guy on the ground. I got to make a business decision. So even though I'm in a decent leverage position, I'm probably going to choose to make a roll tackle. And we do different types. We start with a static position where we are, you know, teaching all the proper mechanics of the roll tackle and how to squeeze, how to wrap, how to roll to yourself. Then we move, you know, we start on one knee or both knees. All right. Then we move to maybe where we drag a bag, an agile bag, and maybe we drag it like 3 steps with a coach or a player. And now we're about 3 yards away, and now we're going to move into the roll tackle in a very, very short distance. And then we progress to the donuts or the you know, the circular tackling tubes, donuts, however you want to call them, whatever you want to call them. Then we progress into more space, sprinting to close the distance, and then rolling on the tube, near foot, near shoulder, wrap, roll to yourself. So we always start in a stationary position, teaching the fundamentals and the techniques first, all right? And then we progress to a bag, an agile bag that we move maybe 3 to 4 feet at most, and maybe the yardage is 5 yards with a, you know, a 2-yard sprint to 3-yard sprint into the roll tackle, and then we progress into the full speed. I'm chasing. I've got to get myself in position to make this roll tackle. So that's kind of how we break it down. You know, again, everybody has a different way of doing it. We've kind of taken our ideas from some different places, and we're trying to incorporate with our coaching staff and our kids the best way that we can teach tackling, the most effective, the safest, keep players healthy, and get guys on the ground. So to me, there's a ton of different ways to tackle. That's why there's a ton of different companies out there teaching tackling. All right, and there's a lot of methods that you can use to tackle and a lot of tackling systems, all right, that are out there. We choose to take our information from the places that we like, that we think are things that our players can do, and then we like to choose the drills that we want to do, and then we like to kind of categorize it and break it down. And I give my assistant coaches on defense, I say, hey, you guys are in charge of profile, you guys are in charge of vice, you guys are in charge of angle track, and you guys are in charge of roll. And instead of rotating those coaches, I make them dominate their one style of tackle all year round. And then in individual periods later on in the year, I make them teach to their own position some type of roll tackle, some type of ice tackle. Because when we're doing tackling circuits that we do at least 2 to 3 times a week, they're low impact drills. I want that drill to be dominated by somebody that does it all the time. I want the profile guys to get very proficient and efficient at profile tackle. I want the roll guy to be very proficient and efficient at roll tackles. I want the vice guys, all right, to be proficient at vice, and I want the angle track guys to be proficient at that. So for me, as a defense coordinator, I like to break it down to where certain coaches own certain drills, and when we rotate the kids, those coaches stay and teach that drill. But then later on, throughout the course of the year, I'll ask the linebacker guy to do a roll drill with his linebackers, and I'll ask the DB guy to do a profile drill, and I'll ask the D-line guy maybe to do some type of tracking or angle tackling drill, so that they have to know all the versions of tackling, even our offensive coaches, because special teams, if you're coaching special teams, that's going to be out there. So everybody's got to know every version of the tackles you want your team to make. But for me, I think the most bang for my buck on defense is taking 2 guys and saying, hey, look, you own profile, 2 guys, you own angle, 2 guys, you own roll, 2 guys, you own, all right, the vice drills. And then kind of give them some buy-in to go, hey, guys, go search it on YouTube, buy some videos, here's some videos you can look at, go to all these different sources. I want you to own this drill. If you can find other drills that might work, I want you to show them to me and teach them to me, because I want them to have buy-in. I want them to feel like they are participating in the tackling circuits and they are bought into them. Okay, but, excuse me, at some point throughout the year, your coaches do need to know, your linebacker coach needs to know how to roll tackle. Your DB coach needs to know how to profile. So I will switch that up in Indy so that everybody gets their work done and they understand the tackling that we're trying to use. And then we also try to teach our offensive guys because they coach special teams. All right. The one thing I like that we do is, you know, some people might call it the swoop. We call it the shimmy. When we say shimmy, our kids understand that it is near foot, near shoulder, and now we are coming to balance, getting ready to put ourselves in a position to make a tackle. Right? So one of the things we do is we start every practice after stretch. We line up about 7 agile bags. Right? So we line up 7 half moons, agile bags, whatever you want to call them. So after we come out of stretch, we'll line those bags up, right? And what we do is the first thing we do is we start the players right up front. So right foot up, left foot back, all right? And now they're already on the front of the bag, and it's now near foot, all right? Right, left, shimmying on that bag. So they're in a position, they decel, the elbows are tight, the hands are ready to strike. Right, left, all right? I know you probably can't see my feet in the video, all right? But we start them at the front of the bag first, and we go right foot, and we shimmy them all through the entire team, all right? When we get to the top, we go left foot. So now it's going to be my left foot up, my right foot back. On the whistle, I'm moving my left foot first, trying to chew up that grass, left, right, in that shimmy position. And then what we do is after we go through that, we move them back about 5 yards. And now they have to sprint to right foot. So now it's going to be sprint to right foot, sprint to right foot, sprint to right foot, sprint to right foot, all right? And then we do the same thing, and we sprint to left foot. So first day of practice today, we came right out of stretch, all right? 7 agile bags. Coach gives us basically 3 minutes to get that done, all right? And it's the entire team. JV, varsity, offense, defense, 3 minutes, 7 agile bags. Start at the top of the agile bag, and we probably have, 70 players in our program, 75 players in our program. 7 lines, maybe there's 10, 11 in each line. Get to the top of the bag, right foot shimmy, whistle, boom, get out, whistle, boom, get out, whistle, boom, get out. Top of the line, left foot shimmy, whistle, boom, get out, whistle, get out. All right, hey, sprint to right foot, boom, get out, sprint to left foot, boom, get out. All right, and I would say today on the clock with about 70 players, I would say it took us about 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and that's with probably some teaching and some other things. Once we roll, we go right out of flex, right into this everyday shimmy drill, all right? And as soon as we come out of flex, boom, right into it, 7 agiles, 8 agiles set up. You got 10 agile bags, set up 10 half moons or agile bags. You got enough coaches, spread them all out, get 10 lines. About 3-4 minutes, you can get through the whole thing. You're getting them moving after stretch, getting a little sweat buildup if it's hot. You're teaching the proper mechanics of near foot shimmy stuff. It takes the onus off the coaches from having to do it in Indy. They don't need to do it as much as their Indy periods. Now we better see it show up in our 2-man vice drills and some of our angle tackle drills when we are working on closing the distance and coming to balance. We had better see the shimmy show up. So I know a lot of you guys out there are, you're probably better at teaching tackling than I am. You probably have some better drills that are out there. Share them in the comments. I love to hear it from you guys. I learn as much from you guys as you do from me. That's just a way for us that we break down types of tackles. All right, some of the different things we look at, some of the different things we drill. My opinion, the toughest thing to teach is going through game film and teaching kids when they should have used each tackle, because I know we teach the kids each tackle, but I don't know if we can ever teach them enough about when to use each tackle, because once a kid gets on the field, he's in charge of his body. We can do all the drills we want, but if he chooses an angle tackle when it should have been a profile, or he chooses a roll when it could have been an angle, all right, where we got to do a better job as coaches, my opinion, is we got to go through game film, make clips and say, hey, teach the kids, see that right there? We missed that because that should have been a roll. We see the position, we're out of position, that should have been a roll. That should have been an angle. That's a 2-man vice. Look how we screwed this up because we let the ball get outside of us. And then we got to go through game scrimmages or practices, and we got to put together clips of missed tackles, why we missed them, and then try to teach the kids that they need to understand which tackles to use in situations if we want to become a better tackling team. All right, so again, sorry guys for being gone for so long, but we are back doing videos, back at it, feels good. I appreciate everything you guys do for me and Play Fast. Remember, click that subscribe button, all right? If you hit the subscribe button and you're a subscriber, you'll know every time a video comes out, every time I go on YouTube Live. So make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button, all right? Thumbs up, thumbs down. If you don't like the video, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. Any talk between us is going to make one of us, if not both of us, better. I don't mind negative comments in the video. Sometimes I might just say thanks for watching. If you make a good point, I might ask you more about it. If you like it, put a thumbs up. Leave those comments, all right? As always, turn your notifications on so you know when we do the videos. Appreciate everything you do for me. Appreciate everything you do for Play Fast Football. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast. It is good to be back. See you next time.